This is Carrie from CRS. And if you didn't already know, I'm talking about how sell-through is your secret weapon. And just a refresher, if you haven't watched any of my videos, I have a tendency to talk about traditional retail topics, but kind of turn them on their head and use a couple of fresh new influences so I can shape your opinion. So, quick recap about sell-through. It is the best indicator of how our products are performing in season. Not at the end of the season, in season. There's a few ways that you can figure sell-through. For today's purposes, we're just gonna use sold units and divide that by the total received units. So just think of a PO. In this example, we're gonna use 8 units. So it's a pretty realistic size run for a lot of people. Once you divide how many units you sold by how many units you received, you're left over with a decimal point or a percentage of what you've sold. Successful scenario. For example, you received the 8 units that we were talking about and you sold 6 of them at full price. So you're 75% sold through. High five, good job. Let's write home and tell mom about it. If we continue to think about this style though, we've got 2 units that we haven't sold, and 2 units doesn't look good on a face out, doesn't look good on a 4-way, it doesn't look good anywhere for that matter. So we probably need to think about what we're gonna do with these 2 units. And they're probably outlier sizes. The more that we sell through a style, the less selection that we have, and it's gonna be harder to match that customer with the selection that we have remaining, unless the price is right. AKA, put it on sale, put it on promotion, yeah! Whenever you mark something down, you might think, ugh, I'm losing money by doing this. But only the naive retailers think like that, and they wait until the end of the season to put everything on markdown. Let's think about this in a different way. And what can be more enticing than finding something in your size that is on promotion and you get to wear it for the rest of the season? It's fresh and you haven't seen it before and you just get really excited about it. So that's super enticing, and because there's so much life left in this product, as a retailer, you don't have to take as much markdowns. You don't have to take as many markdowns for this product in order to move it. So you might have to put something on sale at the end of the season for 50, 75% off in order to get it to move. But if you take the secondary approach of taking an in-season markdown, you might only have to take 15, 20, 30% at the most. Smart retailers know the basics of supply and demand, and they use that to their advantage. And they know that they have to plan in some markdown dollars in order to sell through a style, in order to sell through a size run 100%. It's the holistic approach of how to think about the style's performance. And so on this 8 unit size run, let's say that the cost was $20 and the retail was $40. You know, that's pretty easy math. You sold 6 at full price, so you put $240 in the bank. Let's say that you decided to put that extra small and that extra large on 20% markdown because that's all it needed, since we had a lot of the selling season left, but we reacted quickly. We put $64 in the bank after we sold those 2 units instead of 80. So $16 difference. I mean, eh. By the way, right now, smart retailers are thinking, I just got through those last 2 units. I see all this cash in my bank account now, and I also see a new emerging trend that I'm able to chase and reinvest all of that profit into new fresh inventory and make more money on it. This is what's called cash flow and why it works. However, the naive retailers are hung up on the fact that they just gave away $16. Like, really? Come on. And looking at the big picture, that style made you technically $304, and it cost you $160. So your profit here is $144, the difference between the 2 numbers. And if we look at that at a profit percentage or your gross margin percent, that's 47%, and that ain't bad. Think about this in maybe the naive retailer's viewpoint. So you're not really paying attention to your sell-through, and you're just kind of hoping that someone's going to come by. You're going to have that extra small person or extra large person that likes the style, and it never happens. And now it's the end of the season. You take it 30%, you take it 50%, you take it 75%, and finally those people show up to buy that merchandise. Well, and now you've sold those 2 items for a total of $20, right? Because it was originally 40 bucks and you sold it 75% off, so $10 a unit times 2 units is 20 bucks. And you can't even pay the bill with that portion. Like, you actually ate into your profit because you waited so long to make your markdowns. If we do the math, let's see, you made 100 bucks here and your margin is 38%. The first scenario, you made 144 bucks. In the second scenario, you made 100 bucks. And while $44 doesn't sound like a lot, if you multiply that by every single style in your entire inventory in the entire store, then it really adds up. The humdinger here is the difference in the profitability, the gross margin percent. So in review, one's 47% and the other was 38%. So if you take that across an $800,000 store, if you react in season, then your profitability is $376,000. If you react at the end of the season, then your net profit's only $304,000. So the math, that's $72,000 a year that you could make just by reacting in a timely fashion and making these small, timely decisions about your inventory. I don't know about you, but I'd rather make an extra $72,000 a year. Isn't it amazing how those little decisions add up and make a huge difference on your profitability? It's ridiculous. On to the next way that sell-through can help you out. So we talked about the successful situation, and let's talk about how sell-through can help you jump over some difficult hurdles. So sell-through has an element of time associated with it. Let's say that we bought the same 8 units and we're planning for them to last us 12 weeks, 3 months, 1 quarter, 90 days, however you want to look at it. If we do some math and we're thinking about this in terms of weeks, 100% sell-through across 12 weeks, if we average that out by week, then it's 8 1/3%. Or every month you sell 33% of that product that you originally received. And by adding this expectation of a sell-through rate, like the cumulative sell-through over the product's lifespan, then you're adding this expectation of selling performance. And then all of a sudden you have the ability to judge the performance and even hold the vendor accountable for how it's selling. For instance, like 1 month in, your product is supposed to be at 33% and it's only at 25%. So you might approach your vendor and say, hey, look, this one product is selling really softly, so I want to keep an eye on it for the next 4 weeks and let's talk about it again. So 4 weeks later, now you're supposed to be at 66% sell-through and you're only at 32. Then all of a sudden you have only 4 weeks left in your selling season, and your vendor, if they're a good partner, they might do a few things. They might swap out the merchandise for something different. They might just give you an RA for it. They might give you some markdown dollars or promotional material so that you're not stuck with this unproductive product, because they want to keep you happy. They have some markdown dollars built into their budget too. It's easy to forget that they're retailers too, in a way. See what happened here? Like, we were able to be actionable because we really were taking track and keeping track of our business, and we had a factual conversation. It wasn't just like we licked our finger and stuck in the air to see where the wind was going to take us, because now we actually know our future. And the future was that we're going to be stuck with that dog of a product, and we were going to have markdowns that ate into our other successful sales and bring down that profitability. So that's the second way. And thanks for sticking with me through my video. and I hope that you learned a little something extra today. So go to the CRS website and find my profile page so that you can see my other videos where I talk more about profitability and how you can conquer it, and then also a little bit about authenticity and the type of the spin that I put on it. I'll see you next time.